Now, day one. Day one of Ronald Reagan's presidency, and day one of freedom for 52 Americans.
Video games are the latest craze to sweep the country and most of the world, too. Millions of people are addicted to hours of gazing at electronic images on game screens in arcades and in their own homes.
And flight controllers in Houston will experience the most dynamic, fast-paced series of launch events ever undertaken in the space program.
Electronics is changing so rapidly. And with each change in electronics, it brings something new. So this is not a passing fad.
1981 was a landmark year in the history of our world. Iran had released 52 American hostages who had been held for 444 days. NASA launched the very first space shuttle mission, the U.S. Space Shuttle Columbia, and I was born. Yeah, but even more importantly, if you can believe that, an icon was created. Mr. Video, later named Jumpman, had a long and storied history with the video game tech titan Nintendo dating all the way back to 1981, when he debuted in Donkey Kong. Nintendo originally wasn't making ends meet and owed back rent to their landlord, Mario Odyssey in Seattle. This guy. Following a heated argument, Nintendo eventually convinced Mario that he would be paid, and opted to name their character Mario. When my brothers first came home with the original Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo Entertainment System, my mind was instantly, completely blown. While it may not look like much compared to AAA titles of today, keep in mind that for home consoles, what we had up to this point was this. And this. After the great video game crash of 1983 with Atari, these video game companies were done. The industry was dead. And then Nintendo came along in late 1985 to save the day and revitalize an industry that had been completely forgotten about and left behind. With Super Mario Bros., it made people rethink what it meant to play a video game. But they weren't done there. They went on to Super Mario Bros. 2 with Doki Doki Panic, and this game completely changed the perceptions of what a video game was supposed to even be. And once you thought Nintendo finally reached a point where they couldn't even outdo themselves, they go and surprise everybody with
Super Mario Brothers 3!
This game reached, are you kidding me, levels of excitement and entertainment, something that I'd never seen before in a video game. But they didn't even stop there. They came out with Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo with revolutionary graphics and gameplay. Still to this day, one of my favorite video games ever created. Are you guys sensing a pattern? They weren't done here. They went on to make Super Mario 64 one of the best 3D platforming games ever created, and still to this day used as a barometer to measure any 3D platformer game against. And this came out in 1996. There's an idea of how I feel about the Mario franchise with Nintendo. I had some pretty high expectations going into Super Mario Odyssey. Let's check out how I felt about it. Damn, these graphics are pretty good. That's awesome. This is cool, but so far it seems like pretty much every other Mario game I've ever played. Whoa, what the hell is going on here? So, I'm a frog now? Yep. The gameplay completely changes when you take over a frog's body. This is crazy. I was able to take over the frog by throwing my hat at him. Let me see what happens when I throw it at this chain chomp. Ha! I'm a chain chomp. This game does an excellent job of focusing on the exploration parts of a 3D platform. Holy crap, that's a dinosaur! I'm a dinosaur! This game defied every expectation I had going into it on what it meant to even be a video game in the first place. Nintendo went completely out of their way to ensure that every moment of this game is filled with fun. It is a genre-defying work of art that I'm having trouble even categorizing as what kind of game it even is. It has parts of 3D platforming. It has throwback sections with the old Mario. It lets you throw your hat and take control of other enemies in it. It's got little bits and pieces of the best parts of every game ever made. It's the kind of game that you play and you remember for the rest of your life, and these kind of games only come around once every decade or two. It's one of those things that's just incredible to be a part of, to live during a time when this kind of technology is possible. I don't think there's enough good things I can say about this game. When people ask me, do you think you're overreacting just a little bit? I mean, come on, Jeff, it's just a video game at the end of the day. That's somebody who has never played this game. So to all those people who say Nintendo is dead, they need to just move on and make video games like Sega and a bunch of other companies, they shouldn't make systems anymore, play this game on the Switch and see if it changes your mind. Because I have a feeling this game will completely change your perception of who Nintendo is as a video game company. They don't just make video games fun, they make video games magical. And looking back to how it all started on home consoles with Super Mario Bros. Up to this point with Super Mario Odyssey, at the exponential rate that Nintendo keeps increasing the quality of these Mario games with each release, I for one cannot wait to see where the series goes from here. Super Mario Odyssey not only puts Nintendo back on the map in the video game landscape, it seats them in the throne as the king of the industry once again. And to be quite honest, saying this game is a 10 out of 10 is somehow doing it an injustice. It's not just the game of the year, it's not just the game of the decade, it may just be the best game ever made. But that, my friends, is a conversation for another day. This is no swan song. Nintendo is just getting started. JT